You know, when you think about someone who speaks two languages, what's really going on in their brain? It's so much more than just knowing two sets of words. Today, we're going to dive into the pretty fascinating world of bilingualism and see how it literally reshapes our minds and our lives. Okay, so first things first. This seems like a really simple question, right? But the answer? Well, it's surprisingly complicated. Who actually gets to be called bilingual? And this is where the debate gets really interesting. On one side, you've got this really strict, traditional view from the linguist Leonard Bloomfield. He basically said a bilingual has native-like control of two languages. I mean, that's a super high bar. But then, on the other hand, you have Einar Hogan, who suggested it's just the point where you can produce complete, meaningful utterances, which, is a much more open and inclusive way of looking at it. And this quote just brilliantly sums up the problem. As William Mackey pointed out way back in 1956, there's no clear finish line you cross. So defining bilingualism isn't about finding one perfect, clear-cut answer. So the most important takeaway here is this. Bilingualism isn't some on or off switch. It's not a yes or no question. It's a spectrum. It ranges all the way from knowing just a few key phrases to having total mastery. And where someone falls on that spectrum is what really tells the story. All right, now let's talk about something you've probably heard or even seen a bilingual person do, mixing languages right in the middle of a sentence. This is called code switching, and boy, is it widely misunderstood. Okay, take a look at this. This is a fantastic, real-world example from a little French English bilingual kid. Instead of saying, "I'm petting the cat," they took the French verb flatter, which means to pet, and just seamlessly adapted it to English grammar. I'm flatting the cat. How cool is that? It's creative, it's efficient, and it actually follows linguistic rules. But for a long, long time, when people heard a child mix languages like this, they saw it as a huge red flag. The popular belief was that the kid was just confused, that their brain couldn't keep the two languages separate. It's the kind of misconception this cartoon is joking about. But what modern linguistics tells us is the complete opposite. Code switching is not a sign of confusion. It's a sign of control. It's actually a pretty sophisticated communication strategy that bilinguals use to get their meaning across more precisely, or to build a connection with someone, or sometimes just because a word in one language is the perfect fit. It's a skill, not a weakness. So if a bilingual person is constantly juggling two languages, what does that actually do to the brain? Well, it turns out this constant mental gymnastics is an incredible workout, and it comes with some serious long-term benefits. The key idea here is something called executive control. Think of it like the air traffic controller for your brain. It's housed right up in your frontal lobe, and its job is to help you manage your attention, filter out all the noise and distractions, and switch between tasks efficiently. And here's how being bilingual gives that system a huge boost. See, a bilingual brain has two language systems that are always active. Always. Even when you're only speaking one language, the other one is right there in the background. So the brain has to constantly manage this, choosing which language to use and which one to hold back. And that constant mental workout is what strengthens the executive control center. Now, the real-world results of this are just fascinating. Study after study shows that bilinguals often do better than monolinguals on tasks that need a lot of focus and involve filtering out distractions. And get this. And this is maybe the most profound part. Research suggests that this built-up cognitive reserve might even help delay the onset of dementia symptoms by several years. So we've gone through the theory and the brain science, but what does all this look like in the real world, for real people? Let's check in on the journeys of a few language learners and see the actual impact bilingualism had on their lives. So this is Mila. After she emigrated to the US from Bosnia, she really struggled with her accent. But she kept going, found a supportive job, and now she has the incredible joy of watching her own grandkids grow up speaking both Bosnian and English, keeping them connected to their family heritage. And here's Steve. His decision to study abroad and really learn Mandarin completely changed his life. It wasn't just about learning a new language. It launched his entire career, leading to a top-tier business job that has him traveling all over China. And then we have Linda. For her, it started with a love for Italian opera. That passion sparked a journey that led her to move into a small apartment looking out over Lake Como. Learning Italian allowed her to fully dive into a totally new life where she now teaches and writes. And sometimes these journeys cross paths in amazing ways. Sham Mei, who learned English in an immersion program in Hong Kong, actually met Steve on one of his business trips. Well, they got married, and now they're raising their kids not just bilingually, but trilingually, in Cantonese, Mandarin, and English. A whole new generation on its own linguistic adventure. These stories really bring it all home, and they're captured so beautifully by this Czech proverb. Learning another language, it's not just about memorizing vocabulary lists or grammar rules. It's about opening a door to a new way of seeing the world, a new way of connecting with people, and in a very, very real sense, a new life. So, what new world is waiting for you to discover?